Good morning, everyone. It is a finally sunny day. California has been really pounded with a lot of rain. We are not used to this much rain, and I know a lot of the internet stories out there are, some people think it's dramatizing, but I want to show you kind of what we're dealing with and probably the next few projects that we're going to be tackling. We do live in a very hilly area of LA, literally like right next to a hillside. You can kind of see the terrain in the background. Our driveway's on a really steep slope. We've done what we could to try and stop erosion, but this influx of water that came through was just enormous. So let me flip the camera and show you kind of what we're dealing with. So this is our driveway here. We have a culvert right here that diverts water. We did a lot of cleanup yesterday, as you can kind of see on where the dirt used to be. But we had an enormous landslide up there by our water tower. One of our jacarandas that used to be up there is now down here. Pulled the whole tree down. We do have a tulip tree right there that's just kind of bent over because the jacaranda fell into it. But this is our driveway right now. The mud did come all the way out here. We have been chipping at it. Wet dirt is extremely heavy. We don't really have a great place to put it, so we're actually just kind of putting it up over that little retaining wall there. And we're gonna plant it up really well and see if it holds. But our future plans are to get some drainage up there. So we had this big, like, kind of hill right here, and that's what got saturated and fell. So you can see all of the weeds and everything are still intact. So it's this chunk, a little bit here, this huge chunk. So what I did was I actually created like little swales up there, and I think what happened was it actually caught too much water, became super saturated, and then the land just liquefied. So this is liquefied land for you. So that's what we're dealing with. I really want to get this side. I think does better because it's more rocky and clay. This is a lot more loose soil. So we're gonna have to talk about what we're gonna do here in the future. But let me show you. So let me kind of show you the back of our property back here. So, sorry, it's really early in the morning. When Joe and I first moved here, we encountered a lot of issues that really stressed us out to the point where we thought we should move. And I think that was just part of our feeling of not being in control. We lived in like back in the suburbs where stuff like this doesn't happen. But this is, one of the downfalls of living out in the country. So, but I think what I'm trying to say is there is beauty out here, and Joe and I are, coming to realize that it takes a lot of work to get where you want your yard to be at. Freak things like this do happen. But kind of let me show you one of the things that we have to stop and accept as this is a beautiful place. So this is our raised bed garden right behind our house. We're starting to build a little compost heap here because these definitely aren't working. But all this hillside diverts a ton of water. But this is the beauty that I'm saying. We would never have had this at our last place. We literally have a waterfall in our backyard. And one of the previous owners, also saw this beautiful aspect of this property and built this little tree house. But this tree house has termites in it. We're gonna have to rebuild it if we want to have fun in it again. But this is super cool. Not a lot of people in LA get to have this. So we do have some repairs. Some extremely large boulders came rushing down here. I'll put a little footage of what this looked like during the peak of the rain, but it punched out big holes. We're gonna have to fill all that with concrete. But this thing was pretty much 3/4 full. Rushing down at probably over 60 miles an hour. But let me show you the other part down on the front. I think this was the biggest part right here that really just kind of hit us in the stomach. But you can see how steep that is and how close we are to it. But I know that there are a lot of other people down, like I think in Studio City and some other hilly parts of the county, and the houses are sometimes on stilts just to kind of take in that canyon view and that canyon life. And some of those houses didn't make it, and they slid down, and that's got to be devastating. So, I'm gonna stop here because this is also a really pretty view, especially in the mornings. We get this a lot, so let me show you. So what's really cool is down here. I'm gonna take you down here. So this is a little gravel pathway. Down here, actually, I'm just really glad we did this hardscape this year. We were able to tackle that because I think it really did save. I feel like this hill would have been partially gone if we didn't have those pavers up there. Same with all of this. We had a little bit of damage here. We have a lot of gophers, and I don't know if this was a blessing or a curse, but these gopher holes actually were basically drainage channels for all the water. So this was bubbling like crazy. Came down here, it did kind of unearth some stuff. One of my plums has now been excavated, which I need to fill back up ASAP. And we had some, just mud damage. Have to fill in this, maybe add a drainage pipe here, but this is just cosmetic. This isn't a big deal. We're gonna have to dig all this gravel out of here and sift it, and then this was covered with mud. Joe really took at this yesterday. So now it's just very little, just a tiny bit of mud here. But also I think if we didn't have these pavers here, this would have been a disaster. But I took my heel down here, and we do have another little rain culvert. As you can see, the weeds kind of growing around, and I kind of just try to divert the water, control it as much as I could to utilize that. So now that I know how this water moves when there's a crazy amount of rain that we normally never see, I think we need to keep that stuff in mind. But if we come over here, this is actually really beautiful. We have our own, I don't know what's going on over there. Sorry, sirens in the background. I don't know what's going on. But this was actually much higher yesterday. But we have our own lake. Let me see. This soil is extremely spongy, and I've fallen through some of the gopher canals up to probably my shin, so I have to be careful. But isn't that pretty too? So what happened is we also had all this water from these watersheds. Actually, we have a huge drainage channel there that goes under this hillside and empties into that culvert, and it got plugged. So now that's why we have this lake. But I think I might try to get over there. The only thing is I might go on the banks, like on the very outside, and try and see what the soil's like. I just don't want to get stuck in there. And this soil is extremely unpredictable right now. But the cool thing is at night, this is just filled with frogs. And they're just croaking their life away. But I was actually going to show you guys this. So here's like another one of the gopher channels that just got taken out. But I'm so glad it dried up. So this was a flowing river, and it carved out all this. I actually just started landscaping all of this, so you can see some rosemary in here. I had to come up here and try and save some of these because they got just ripped out. But Joe and I were talking about eventually doing some kind of dry stream or something, and it looks like nature carved it out for us. So I kind of just traversed from the lake is up there, traversed down here. These are those Australian plants that I just planted. But this is our culvert, and it's definitely slowed down quite a bit. That's kind of what it leads to. It goes under a lot of our property. I don't even know how they installed that. But you can see where the water just couldn't hold up there, and it came down here and just wiped out. I actually started planting some stuff here too, but then it just came and whoosh, came over. But I was trying to look at the terrain. This might be a blessing in disguise again. It is really pretty though. I mean, if that's really the only damage we have is some landscaping and then the slide up there, I'm definitely okay with that. So we're definitely counting our blessings. But let me go show you this unintentional little stream that we have over here. So I was gonna show you guys that I'm trying to plant up this hillside up here, but I had all these fun things planted, and I came out here during the storm and it had just ripped everything up. So not a big deal, totally plantable. I stuck them back in their cans, but this thing dug, I mean, this is probably 2-3 feet deep, and we've got a whole stream. So this is the power of water. This was all the same level. The only thing that I do want to check on is our jacaranda that we had installed here. Okay, it looks okay. So when I came out here, so you can see the root ball of the jacaranda, this water, had come down here and hit the jacaranda and exposed half of its root ball. So I was out here digging, trying to cover the root ball, and then I found some of the rosemary down there. So picked those up, stuck those in. So hopefully the roots on this, plus that over the next year or so, will really grab into the soil. But yeah, water damage. So this is definitely something that we need to address. But it's kind of cool, you know, silver lining. I don't know if that's exactly where I would have put it, but maybe we can work with it. I don't know. That we had was down by the front of our driveway. Oh, I did have another. Our silk floss tree has not been liking it this year. I mean, it's only been here a year, but we've had freezing weather, and now this crazy wet February has not been really nice to some of these plants that I just planted. So this is the huge pile we had created, and you know what? I am the biggest believer in mulch now. You can see, so the water, not only did it come down this way, but it also like came rushing over here too. Came down. You can kind of see how the water was pushing everything. It hit my little fig tree island and went around. You can see how it like perfectly hit that and went around that way. Mind you, this is kind of up a little bit, like a little island. But dang. Mulch works. Yeah, Joe and I finished this yesterday. Thank God my back is feeling a little bit better, because I would have just been useless. But this is the culvert from this side of the driveway, and then it does attach from this side under the driveway into here as well. But there was so much debris from partially the landslide, but then, like I was saying, over by the waterfall, I could just hear huge boulders crashing down. And they all got stopped up down here. Oh, I didn't even notice this little landslide here too. You know, when there's this much water, water finds a way. So it looks like it actually came up from up. This is actually like a water stream, it looks like. So it just carved it out. But all this material has to go somewhere, and it goes into our culvert here. I don't know if I'm using culvert right. Oh, but you can see kind of, they dug this huge trench here too. Oh, but thank goodness, like, all my other little stuff survived. But there's junk everywhere. But this was all covered with mud. So Joe and I were out here with brooms and shovels. But this, I think I got some video, so I'm gonna show you guys what we were doing yesterday. But Joe was so right. So if you ever have anything like this where you have a channel that's diverting water off your land and it gets stopped up, do it as soon as possible. Try to clear it as soon as possible, because the power of water is extremely strong and it'll be your saving grace. It will be your helper. So we try to take some of these big rocks out, but we just kind of chipped, starting way down there. And the power of the water actually starts pushing everything. So this took maybe, I don't know, an hour or so, but it was backed up from there, probably back to there. And this is, I think, a 4-foot deep trench and probably 3 feet wide. And then this also helps divert water from up here too. But that's the storm drain over there. And it was just raging. So that's about it, you guys. This is also, like, if you look at our topography, you have these hills. So you have this one here, this one here. So one kind of goes up there where we have a pond now, or a lake. And another one kind of comes through here, so you can see it flowing actually. So this is just a little update on what we're experiencing. A lot of people have had it a lot worse, I know, but I just, since I've been working out here and trying to landscape everything, for those of you that watch, just kind of sharing with you what we're experiencing. We've only been here for 2 years now, and this is the second landslide that we've had. This is definitely the most land movement that we've had. So we're gonna have to think about some solutions in case something like this happens again. Seems to be happening more frequently. I mean, we've only been here for 2 years, and it's happened every year that we've been here. So, okay, let me show you another silver lining, another beauty out of all this rain that we're getting. Can you see the little daffodils? They're all popping up all along the driveway. There's a lot of weeds right now, but right there around the crepe myrtle and all this, talking about land stabilization. These aren't the best, but they do have roots, so they will help. Look how cute though. Anyway, this will be quite the show when we're not stressed about moving all this dirt. So we'll definitely bring you guys along for what I will do with this whole water divertment project. But if any of you guys know a great method, especially for a hillside water diverting, let me know. I'm looking into French drains right now, probably putting several of those at different levels. And then just taking that water, oh, that hill's a doozy. And just taking that water and probably going, you know, doing a few and then diverting each one down to probably somewhere here, have just an opening. All this vegetation will fill up a pipe or whatever. And since it's all downhill, water will shed, so it shouldn't be that difficult, especially to create that pitch. But we just can't have another landslide like this again, especially because we have that rain. It's actually a water containment. Can't think of words right now, but it's basically, we have a fire connector here, so in case anything ever happens, house catches on fire or whatever, the LA fire department can tap into that, because during most fires you lose electricity, which runs a lot of things, and if your water pipe breaks, that's what you're left with, is gravity fed water. So that needs to stay up there. That can't come crashing down, especially into the house. So I'm gonna finish my cup of coffee and enjoy this cool moment and the nice sun and get to shoveling muddy, heavy, dirty mud. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.